Greetings. Welcome to the Inspiration Talk podcast again with your creator and your host, Timothy Robinson. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the love and the support that I've been seeing on social media. I've been trying to respond to certain ones from time to time, and I know it get kind of overwhelming for me easily. But I'd like to thank you for the love and the support on social media. So please get out. Please share it. Please like it. Please share it. Let it flow through social media. And also my YouTube page, Inspirational Talk with Tim. Please like and please subscribe it and share it and tell a friend, tell a relative, tell your coworker to be able to, tune in so we can be able to grow together, learn, inspire, hope, and heal, right? Okay, also, my book that I have, I told you about my book on the first episode, but I didn't show it to you. My book is, the title of it is My Life, My Times by Timothy Robinson. My Life, My Times by Timothy Robinson. It's pictured me on the back. Um, you can get it at Amazon. You can get it at Amazon, and I think you can also order it at Barnes and Noble. Order it at Barnes and Noble. I'm also soliciting ads for the podcast too as well. I'm also soliciting ads for the podcast. So please, if you are interested and you want to be able to support, please email me at robinson38135@yahoo.com. And I'm also receiving donations. You can do the donations through PayPal. You can type my name in PayPal, or you can do a Cash App too as well. Type my name in, and I am soliciting donations for the podcast too as well because of the material and things that I'm constantly researching and looking at, and books that I'm constantly pulling up and reading. It seems like that I can't put a book down now. So please, we need your support with that. We need your support with that. Okay. The title that we're going to talk about today is befitting of the situation and me, and it's like to get to know your facilitator, if I must say. Um, and I know my family members and my friends, they know what has transpired with me the past couple of years, but they know, but they just don't know, right? And so the title that we're going to talk about today is grief. The title that we're going to talk about today is grief. The topic is grief. And so, uh, like I said, we're going to hit a, a plethora of topics. And so please email me certain topics that you want to talk about. And if you want to go live with me, please email me so we can set up a time to go live with me. If you just want to do this a phone conference, you can please call me at call me at 901-219-4033. Robinson, excuse me. My phone number is 901-219-4033. I've still been getting a lot of flack about that, but I'm gonna put it out there. So I want to be able to connect. It's very important to be able to connect with the viewers on the platform, so we can be able to get the certain topics and things that we want to talk about and see what's bothering us in today's society, so we can be able to learn a lot about from it and grow and heal from it too as well. So the first topic that we're going to talk about, and like I said, this topic is befitting because people want to know what's going on or what's been going on and how I've been doing lately, which rightfully so. I totally understand that. The topic is grief. The topic is grief. And the stages of grief. The stages of grief is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And now, yes, they have the stages like this, but the stages could fluctuate. It could be depression, acceptance, anger, denial. It's, for each person, it's tailored a little different. So, the meaning of grief. Okay, a deep sorrow, especially caused by a loved one's passing. A deep sorrow, especially caused by a loved one passing. So I know on this platform we all had experienced some form of grief, whether it's somebody that's near and dear to us, or whether it's a distant relative or family member, or maybe a close friend or a friend that you probably knew back in the day. But we all had experienced it, from time to time. And we don't talk about grief a lot. We don't talk about grief a lot because it's uncomfortable. And things that is uncomfortable, we tend to push away because we are not comfortable with it. And which is rightfully so. But grief is something that we have to be able to address, and we have to be able to live with it. And we have to be able to accept it as a part of life. Because just as sure as just as sure as I'm standing here talking, we all have an expiration date. We all have an expiration date. And you know what? We're not going to be late for that appointment if we wanted to. Now, that's one appointment we're going to be on time for. My experiences with grief, date back to, I like to say 2000. My father passed in the fall of 2000. Later on, by my grandfather that raised me, he passed later on in 2000. Then 2002, 2002, my mother passed, and in 2005, my grandmother passed, and 2021, my wife had passed away. So I got some experience. I got some experience in this thing called grief, and I like to say I'm a subject matter expert at this part right here. I am, and so it's very important to be able to understand grief, right? To understand grief, and so I had a friend. No, I ain't had a friend. I got a friend. She's an old coworker in Memphis, and we was talking several weeks ago, catching up, and we, started talking about old times, and then she, we started talking about me and how I'm doing, and I explained to her that I'm doing fine. I'm tremendously blessed, but I have my moments, but I have to live with that, right? And so she then told me, she said, Tim, you know what? She said, Tim, you know what? I've been around you when the three most important women in your life passed. And I said, hold on, what? Okay, now I'm listening. And she said, I remember when your mom passed, and she said when your mom passed, you was emotionally running around like a mouse in a maze. And I said, yeah, I can recall those times. And she said when your grandmother passed, it was like it was inevitable. You knew what was going to happen, but she also gave you an assignment too. I remember you telling me about that. And an assignment that my grandmother gave me on a deathbed was on a dying bed was Timmy, you're gonna be okay. You have to be strong. And I was like, okay, and full of emotions, but okay. And she said when my wife passed, she said, I was wondering, how you was really gonna handle that. But listening to you today, it's just truly amazing, how strong you had got, in this. And I said, well, I have my moments, but I showed you, I appreciate your words of encouragement. She said, no, Tim, really, And then I thought about it because at times, and God has this thing, strategically designed. At times, people can see a lot more in you than you can see in yourself, right? So they can see a lot more in you. They can see your impact from their vantage point than you can see for yourself. Because you living in your life, they 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 got a certain vantage point and they see it. And so she told me that, and I was like, I'm very thankful for that information. And yeah, that's good. The information was correct, and I got stronger after each, you know, woman in my life has passed, and so I'm very much thankful for that. And also, I have my family in Oklahoma. Uh, I think later on in 2001, we had met up in Atlanta and we spent some time together in Atlanta. And my family member had asked me because she wasn't able to make the services. She wasn't able to make the services uh, when my wife passed. And she told me, she asked me, she said, Tim, I think we was eating dinner or something. And she said, Tim, can you tell me what just really happened? I'm like, what do you mean? Don't nobody want to, I keep that close to me. Don't nobody want to hear that part. She said, no, 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 no. She said, I want to hear it. Please, can you tell me? If it's not, if I don't want to be pressing, but I want to hear. And I said, well, okay. So I told her, I said, her last breath was the breath that I put in her body. And her last words were spoken with me. And as I went on explaining it to her, she said, wow. And I stopped. And she said, what a beautiful love story. I said, what? What a beautiful love story. I never looked at it like that. And she said, I've been married. And at the time she said, I'm coming up on 10 years of marriage to him. And she said, I would love for my last words to be spoken to me from my husband. I would love for my last breath to be a breath that he tried to put in my body. That's a beautiful love story. So I never looked at it like that. But I'm thankful that she gave me that nugget, and that put a different spin and put a different twist on how I look at it now, and not to be too religious on you, but God is forever in the blessing business. It's hard to talk about my life and not talk about the God I serve, And so God is still keeping me day in and day out, still keeping me. And during the grieving process, people gonna leave. People gonna leave your life. Like the young people said, life gonna go back to start lifing. Things gonna go back to normal. And all the promises and things that people made in your life, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna make sure I call. I'm gonna make sure I do this. I'm gonna make sure I do that. Make sure I do that. Make sure I do this. It's gonna fade away. And I thank God that I didn't take any of that personal, because I pretty much understand the gist of how people operate. So I'm thankful that I didn't take any of it personal. Okay. But people are gonna leave. Yeah. And I understood. After what had transpired. I mean, I understood that this is my road that I have to hold. And so, I mean, whether you be here or not, I'm gonna have to do it anyway. And so, and try not to get bitter. Try not to get bitter when people walk away. me share something with you. I'm jumping off the topic, but I'm sidetracking a little bit. But another thing too, and this is one step of, this is one of the processes of what they said. One of the processes of anger is what grieving is anger. We are uncomfortable with anger. We are uncomfortable with grief. And when we are uncomfortable with grief, what is an emotion that is easy to grab? It's anger. No one has to teach you how to be angry. Did no one have to teach you how to be angry? That just came in. You ever saw a little kid, 2 or 3 years old, don't get what they want, and the first thing that they do is this? Did nobody have to teach them how to do that? So, by us being uncomfortable with anger, and we get in situations where someone, a family member or somebody close to us that passed away, we get in a situation where, that brings up all the family tea. That brings up all the family gossip and all the family, quirks and dislikes and things of that nature. And so you end up having misunderstanding with family members that doesn't have anything to do with you sitting up here grieving. Because a lot of times we don't know how to grieve. We don't. You ever saw a family member or a friend for that matter? Here's the time to get in the funeral cars. They got the limousines lined up, and somebody in the back they didn't get to misunderstanding or argument with somebody over there about where they sit in the funeral car, because they don't want to face the situation that's at hand, and that's that we have to funeralize this loved one. Anger is an easy emotion to go and grab. Try not to do that. And another thing too, you ever been over to a family member's house or one of your relatives' house, and everyone then acknowledged that one of your family members or loved one passed on, and people walk in the house and they start talking about something. Everything all off the wall don't have anything to do with the matter at hand. That's because they uncomfortable with grieving. They don't know how to. And it's all right to go in and hug the person and say, you are in my prayers. Go over there and fix you a chicken plate and sit down, eat your chicken, watch what they're watching on TV, and being quiet and supporting your friend or supporting your loved one. It's all right to be quiet. It's all right. You don't have to have frivolous conversations about nothing. But grieving is uncomfortable. Grief is uncomfortable. And so people don't know how to act. They don't know how to move in that type of space. And so be careful of that. People going to leave in your life. Your friends going to leave. Your loved ones going to leave. Life go back to life. And that was very important for me. I understood that. So I didn't take none of it personal. Now, I couldn't have made that statement 5 years ago. Because I took everything personal 5 years ago. There's nothing like the energy of a good friend. There's nothing like an energy of a good loved one or a family member that you love. When they come in your time of need. It's just, that's the way God has his thing strategically designed. There's nothing like that, right? So, when people leave out your life, friends leave out your life while you going on your road to grieving, One day I was in the truck and I went into a store and came back, and the rapper poet Tupac came on. Yeah, I have a broad music palette. You know, I listen to all types of music, all types of music, whatever could fit my mindset at the time. Tupac came on, and one of his statements that he made, one of his verses was in his lyrics or something, however it said, but one of the statements that he made was, hard times make a true friend afraid to ask. Again, hard times make a true friend afraid to ask. This is why I don't take it personal. Because that statement to me is true. Hard times make a true friend afraid to ask how you doing. Because they know how you doing. And we as people, especially men, but we as people have the fixing mentality. And if we can't fix it, oh, it's frustrating. How you doing? I know how you doing. I do. Can you fix it? I can't fix it. It's hard to look at them. So that's what I say, that sometimes, God take you to a place where can't nobody talk to you but him. God take you to a place where can't nobody touch you but him. And sometimes during this grieving process, that's true. Because, you have to get stronger, and you have to, and for me personally, now, if you want to hear me talk about this more in depth about the God that I serve, you can set it up on, you can email me and we can set it up then. But yeah, it's difficult. And it's hard for me to talk about it and not talk about the God that I serve. Because that's the one that kept me. That's the reason why I'm here today. But I also had to have an open heart too, to receive it, and an open mind. But most of all, when I look back, I only see one set of footprints. One set. So yeah, hard time make a true friend afraid to ask. So I understand that. I do. I understand that. And another thing too about grief. Don't let people project things onto you that they can't handle. I had a neighbor. I got a neighbor a couple of years ago. She asked me. She said, "Tim, how you doing?" And anybody that know me, I have a big personality. Oh, I'm doing fine. No, Tim, really, how you doing? I said, I'm doing fine, but now I'm curious. Why you so persistent in asking me, right? Excuse me. She said, the reason why I'm asking is, don't let people project on you stuff that they can't handle. I said, now you know I'm from North Memphis. Now you know you're gonna have to break that down. She said, yeah. She said, just because people see you walking around smiling, and they will look at you and say, well, you know what? Yeah, he's smiling. If I'd have lost my little one like that, like he lost his, I wouldn't be walking around there smiling. Why is he walking around there smiling? Don't let people put that on you. Because they still don't know the lonely days. They still don't know the lonely nights. Don't let people do you like that. And I am forever grateful for that nugget that she put in my spirit. And I appreciate that. And that was correct. Because people will do that. If you let them do it, they'll do it. They'll push it right off on you. They shortcomings. They'll push them right off on you. You got to be careful of that. How hard was it, Tim? It was hard. It was difficult. I was alone, most lonely nights. Quite a few times my neighbor used to stay outside a little longer because they know that I would come in there house alone. And I had to tell him, y'all go ahead in the house. I'm fine. And I had to go in the house alone. There was a lot of lonely nights, so it was hard. Not gonna make no bones about that. In the silence of it all, like I stated in the first podcast, the silence of it all became too loud. The silence was it was it was crazy. And I mean it, when I say crazy, because it was sometimes that you can't put it into words. Your emotions, how you feeling. And what I've learned to do, and I'm very thankful for this, is quietening my spirit. Quietening my spirit. Quiet your spirit down. There was one decision that I made by coming back, by doing this alone. Yes, yes, my loved ones, they was concerned, and they probably still is. They concerned, but I had to quieten my spirit down. I had to move away all the chatter. It was important for me. This is my life now. I have to be extremely selfish about this one. I had to understand this. I couldn't understand it first. And I remember right when I started turning the page, I was in prayer one night, and God spoke to me and said, "You know what? You struggling about what I did when I took Tara away from you." I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Let me tell you this. Let me say this." He said, "Everybody that know her knows she was a praying woman. And so I could not touch her until she accomplished everything that she wanted to accomplish in the earthly realm. Because my word, I hold my word above myself." I said, "Okay." And he said, "Did she have a beautiful family? Check. She had a beautiful marriage? Check. She had a beautiful career? Check. Did she have all the material things that you wanted? Check, 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 check. So what are you wrestling with?" I don't know. I just want to hear. You wrestle with my time and your time. My time is different. My time is different. For those who want to know, I've learned so much. The last couple of years. I've grown so much. I got a friend here, very close friend here. And one day he was talking to me. We was catching up. And he asked me how I was doing. And I said, "I'm doing good." He said, "I can see that." I said, "I appreciate that." And he said, "You ever wonder why a judge sits up high in the courtroom?" I said, "Not really. Every time that I went to court, I didn't want to be there. So I wasn't looking at the dynamics of it. I was just looking at the door that I came in ready to get out of." Ready to get out of it. And he said, "Truly." And he said, "Seriously though, you ever wondered?" I said, "No, I never wondered that." And he said, "A judge sits up high in the courtroom where he can look at an angle downward at the lawyers, but he can better see and assess the problem that is being presented to him. And I said, okay. He said, you have grown so much. I have saw the Lord elevate you to a point where you can see a lot of things that go on in life a lot better than what you used to. It's been blessing me so much. Truly. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for him. I'm thankful for this time. I'm thankful for this day. I'm thankful for this platform. You will often hear me say, and this comes from speakers who I have studied in the past, speakers who I've studied in the past, and I'm fond of speakers that are transparent. Mike Tyson come to mind with me for one of them. In his latter days, I love his transparency. And I remember at the ending one time he said, I have presented myself just like I came in the world. I have presented myself in front of you just like I came in the world, naked. This is me. And through his transparency, he became normal. Actually, a little bit more. Because he's able, he has the courage to face it, to look it right in the eyes and say, this is me, flaws and all. Well, you will hear me quote back to a lot of different speakers. I like it when Martin Luther King used to get excited and we used to elevate, his speech. And when he really started trying to bring his point home, he would always say, somewhere I heard. He would go on. Or he would say, somewhere I read. And he would go on. I studied not only him, but a lot of them. I studied their craft. I studied them. So, with that being said, somewhere I heard and somewhere I read is grief is the tax that we pay on love. It's the tax that we pay on love. And if you with your loved one, you with your significant other, you with your family member, and just like I stated earlier, we got that appointment, and this is not to scare y'all. This is to educate y'all about grief. This is to educate me. This make me feel better. We're going to pay them taxes. Just as the old preacher used to say, this is sure as heaven high and hell low. You're going to pay them taxes, right? You're going to pay them. You know, the closest thing I heard of someone pass out, as a couple passing together, was several years ago that I heard this couple of 70, I think it was 70 plus years, the man passed of a heart attack. The man passed of a heart attack, and his wife was so grief stricken, until she passed like a week or so later. So they ended up having both of the funerals at the same time. She just succumbed in grief. So with that being said, you know, I wanted this to be the first topic. So just to let, my loved ones and friends and the viewers on this platform that I'm fine. And this podcast is not a fly by night podcast. We here to stay and we getting better each day with your love and your support. I'm fine. You know, sometimes when I think about my wife of 26 years, I just wish heaven had visiting hours. Okay. Call me, email me, text me your topics, like and share. And please donate. Please donate because this is conferences that I would like to attend as well as podcasters and things of that nature. And so I can get better at my craft. So we can get better as people. So please donate. You can donate my name, Timothy Robinson, Timithay, at paypal.com, or you can put my number in or my phone number in, 901-219-4033, Cash App. You can Cash App too as well. And please, and I'm also soliciting ads. So this been a joy. It's been a joy. And this is the Inspirational Talk podcast with your creator and your host, Timothy Robinson. And I'm going to always leave you with this nugget. Always at the end of each segment, I'm going to leave you with this nugget. Always remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Thank you.